20 years ago, my good friend Douglas Adams spent a year tracking down endangered animals, together with the zoologist Mark Carwardine. Now it's my turn. Mark and I are heading off to find out exactly what happened to those species that he had seen dangling on the edge of extinction 2 decades ago. It promises to be exhausting, exhilarating, and exasperating. But I wouldn't miss it for the world. Mexico, at first glance, is not the most promising-looking landscape for wildlife watchers. But of all the adventures Mark and I have shared, this is the one he has been most looking forward to.
There is no better place to come. I think Baja has to be my favourite place in the world for watching whales, because there are several different species that come here to breed, and we're coming right in the middle of the breeding season.
We've come in search of one whale in particular, the largest animal to have ever existed on Earth. The blue whale can grow over 100 feet long and can weigh over 190 tons. It is said that the blue whale has a heart the size of a small car and a tongue the weight of an elephant. In the first half of the last century, whaling ships reduced the number of blue whales by 99%, leaving the species officially classified as vulnerable to extinction. We have come to Baja, California, the westernmost part of Mexico, and we're starting the journey at the decidedly remote San Ignacio Lagoon.
This is a collection of huts in the middle of a desert, far from the nearest town, isn't it?
This is very isolated. It's great. Don't you love it?
I do.
Do you? Yeah. Do you? Really?
Well, it's different.
Before heading in search of unpredictable blue whales, Mark has decided my introduction to whales should be with something smaller and easier to find. The grey whales of San Ignacio Lagoon are said to be the friendliest whales in the world, which Mark is hoping will allow us a very close whale encounter indeed.
Have you seen what I'm wearing? My whaling shorts.
Oh,
you see?
no.
Look.
What species of whale is it?
You tell me as the expert.
Goodness knows.
It's a made-uppy.
Yeah. No, so hopefully we're going to get these is where you can get the closest encounters possible with whales, and there are mothers and calves here, grey whales, and the thing is they're bored, I think. There's not very much to do except grow older and bigger, and so they like distractions, and people are a good distraction.
I've had many challenges in life, but providing distraction for a bored infant whale is a new one.
Oh, there, look. There. Look. Look there, they're huge. We're right amongst them.
You're getting really excited. This is great.
Extraordinary. Oh, my goodness.
That's quite close.
Wow.
We hope that one of these whales that are close to us actually want to come even closer and investigate and come and have a proper look.
More excited now. One of those things that nothing prepares you for, although you know you're going to be pleased to see them. And when you do, you're completely overwhelmed, aren't you?
That rainbow is gorgeous.
It's simply lovely.
For the adults, this is the midpoint of a 10,000-mile round trip to mate and have their young, one of the longest migration routes of any mammal on Earth. And there's something about being in the presence of an animal of such size and power that is truly impressive.
Most of these will be about 45 feet long.
Right.
So they're still big animals.
Whoa.
You know, it's like half the length of a blue whale. So they're not big in whale terms. But they're probably twice as long as our boat.
Goodness me. They don't upturn boats, do they?
No, hardly ever. You've got to start splashing, Stephen.
With what?
With your hands. Just roll your sleeves up.
Right. And there are great white sharks in the water too.
Oh, he's here, look.
He's here, yeah.
Here we are.
Oh, hello. My God.
Checking us out.
Yeah. He checked us out quickly.
Oh, yeah. Didn't like us.
No. No, he didn't see my shorts. That was the problem. If he'd seen my shorts...
Because for a few weeks each year, these grey whales gather to breed in this small bay, they are the one whale encounter that is more or less guaranteed. 100 years ago, they also provided guaranteed opportunities for whaling boats.
The whalers had a field day and they killed thousands and thousands of them. But in those days, they were actually called devilfish because they didn't just lie by the boat and let themselves be killed. They fought back.
Did they?
And the whalers, the old whaling ships used to wait out at sea, outside the lagoon here, and the little whaling boats, this sort of size, would be rowed in. And the whales, once they get hurt or harpooned, they would whack the boats with their tails and breach on them and killed many whalers. So they've changed their character a lot.
Since a clampdown on whaling in the 1930s, the grey whale numbers have started to recover.
Oh, my goodness.
Once again, this lagoon is an active nursery for many grey whale mothers and calves every year.
You just see a smile there. Look at you.
That eye. Did you see the eye?
Yeah, the eye is clear
Just
as
broke
anything.
the surface.
He just wanted to have a look at us. Yeah.
Oh, he likes that.
Oh, my God.
Pushing the boat.
Yeah.
Whoa. Here we go.
Oh, there he is. I touched him.
Did you?
My finger there. Felt like PVC. There he goes.
Wonderful.
Oh, my word, it's just extraordinary. The most distinctive thing that whales do, I suppose, is the blowing. You know, this kind of geyser that comes out of water, and these two slits that are they the equivalent of nostrils?
Yeah, they're the blowholes, they're called, and they're basically like our nostrils, and over the course of evolution, they've migrated to the top of the head. Otherwise, you imagine if it was still where we have our noses, they'd have to stick their heads up like that all the time to breathe, so they just have to surface. And what happens is they... God, you don't know where to look next. What happens is, as they surface, they start to blow out, and the water that's caught in the blowholes is blown up in that big plume.
Ah, that's the point.
And then you can hear them, they blow out, and then they take a breath, and then they drop back down again. So they're having to come up to the surface to breathe at regular intervals like we would.
I'm doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Blowing off.
And it's not blowing off, it's blowing.
You're right, blowing. You're an amazing creature. Whoa, that's rather beautiful. Whoa! Oh, yeah! Oh,
This is one of Mark's favourite places in the world, and I can see why. All the same, I've been flicking through the book of his original journeys with Douglas Adams, and there is a notable absence of the words Mexico, blue, and whales, and a significant chapter on China, a country we appear to have missed out on completely.
When we were planning this whole series, I imagined one of the places we would go would be China, because a very memorable chapter of the book you and Douglas wrote was about the Yangtze River dolphin. But we're not there. We're looking at dolphins and whales in Mexico. And I'd rather hope we go to China.
Well, so would I, to be honest. I hope we would as well. When we first started talking about it, the Yangtze River dolphin still existed, as far as we knew, and it was the plan to go and try and find one. But since we started planning all the trips, it's been officially declared extinct.
Why did it become extinct?
It picked probably the worst place in the world to live, the Yangtze River. The Yangtze River Basin is home to about 10% of the whole world human population. So it faced every possible threat, from pollution, agricultural runoff from farmland and pollution from factories and towns, to overfishing.
And I suppose the best we can do now is make sure it doesn't happen to other species like it.
Well, exactly. The Yangtze River dolphin was the first whale, dolphin or porpoise to become extinct in historical times, and it won't be the last. And so we'll go and look for the blue whale. You know, even though it's so well known, it's facing many of the threats that the Yangtze River dolphin faced. It was very heavily hunted for many years, and so that's another species that's on the brink.
As the world's human population rockets to 7 billion, I wonder if it's inevitable that other species must simply be swept aside. We're hoping that a search for the iconic blue whale will reveal whether lessons have been learned from the demise of the Yangtze River dolphin. We're crossing the peninsula to hunt for blue whales in the Sea of Cortez. But on the journey across land, there's something Mark wants to show me. The bad news is that it involves mules.
I like the chaps.
¿Cómo está?
And I like what they're wearing as well.
Hola.
Hola. Good girl. Come on. Andale.
Mula.
Mula. That's what we say. Mula. No. Oh, Christ. You've really got to lean back, haven't you? Gee whiz. That was scary.
Having mastered the transport, I finally get a chance to really take in the landscape.
Oh, this is it.
But Mark has a surprise.
They're huge, much bigger than I was expecting.
Yeah.
God, that's really impressive.
Thousands of years ago, long before the first Europeans arrived in Mexico, this was home to the Cochimi Indians, a community that lived and died, leaving no trace except for these pictures.
It's amazing, isn't it? What a wild, desolate place to do this.
Extraordinary.
What gets me is they would have seen a place like we're seeing now, pretty much, pretty unchanged. Virtually no water. How on earth they survived, I don't know.
Phenomenal.
And all the same sort of wildlife. I mean, it's interesting they've got turtles. They obviously went to the coast or had been to the coast.
Which we're quite away from.
Yeah, we're right, pretty much in the middle of the peninsula.
Yeah. I can't see any whales here. Oh, actually, well, funnily enough, on the extreme right, it looks exactly like a whale.
No one knows when the Cochimi came to this valley, but we know they survived with little impact on the landscape for many hundreds of years.
They were still around when the Jesuits arrived, who were the first people to see this. And I suppose after the Jesuits, there was just a great influx of Westerners, of gringos, people like us and the Spaniards who came for the gold and the copper mines.
It's the story of all our travels, that. It's people coming in, and that's causing the problems everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the Yangtze River dolphin story through and through. It's because there were so many people living in the Yangtze River Basin that it's gone. The population of Baja is increasing exponentially and has been for a number of years.
There are not many places in the world where you can stand high up and look around and for 180 degrees you don't see a human habitation or a pylon or, electricity or, cell phone mast or anything.
And that's good, is it?
Well, I usually regret the lack of cell phone masts, but in this case, I'm prepared to make an exception and be very glad.
You're changing, actually.
Maybe I am changing, just a little. I won't pretend that I'm not a creature of the modern world, but I am at least aware that a price has been paid to achieve it. It's hard to imagine this landscape as anything other than an endless wilderness. But if the human population continues to rise, then who knows how it might be developed and tamed, and the strange, hostile world of the Kochimi will finally exist only in their pictures. We're heading for La Paz, the best place to go looking for blue whales, and very much a return to the 21st century. It's a change of pace and a chance to recharge the batteries before heading out to encounter the biggest animal that ever lived on Earth.
Stephen's sort of assuming that our next stop is blue whales and we're guaranteed to see them, and I must admit I'm a little bit worried because I sort of know how difficult it is. Even though a blue whale is roughly the length of a Boeing 737, it's an amazingly difficult animal to find. I've got various friends with boats out in the Sea of Cortez who are looking for me, and I'm hoping I'm going to get a phone call or a radio message in the next day or two to say they found them.
In the meantime, we are not, it seems, destined to kick back and enjoy carnival. Mark has brought us to meet Fernando Elorriaga, a man with a mission and a means to get there.
Nice to meet you too.
There have been reports that a booming population is now overfishing the Sea of Cortez. Though no one is quite sure how far-reaching the changes are, Fernando is getting answers by looking in the unlikely direction of sea lion droppings. Yes, we have carnival, we have boat, we have beaches and the deep blue sea. And Mark is taking us to look at poo. First, find your sea lion.
Enormous.
They are, aren't they? Well, the males are huge.
Good God.
Males are a lot bigger than the females. Can you get a whiff of them?
Oh, yeah.
You can tell
Strong
they're close. Yeah.
This noise, this noise, takes me straight back to my childhood and the sight of a sea lion with a ball on its nose.
I know. Well, these are California sea lions are the ones, because they're pretty intelligent and playful, are the ones that zoos and aquaria
So
and
when
so on
people
like to
say
use.
performing seal, it's nearly always actually a performing sea
It is
lion.
a sea lion.
It is a wonderful noise. It's as if some child has run riot at a vintage car rally, just going on all the...
As sea lions on land are highly territorial and potentially hostile, we cannot land on the gentle slopes that rise from the calm waters on the west side of the island, where the animals loll in vast numbers. Instead, we have to transfer to a small boat to go around the island to take our chances with the sharp rocks and choppy waters which few self-respecting sea lions would bother with.
This is going to be quite tricky.
Holy moly, Mark. Is the idea that we put ashore here?
I think we've got to come ashore here and then pick our way over to where the main rookery is over there, across these rocks.
Yeah.
Oh.
On balance, I decide I'm better built to hold the fort while others go into battle. I elect to direct proceedings from the boat while Mark and Fernando do the boy's own bit.
For goodness sake, be careful.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel. Oh, no. Be careful, Mark. If you're not
Can
comfortable,
we get a
don't
little
go.
bit closer?
Am I be careful?
Thanks. That wasn't too bad.
Very best of luck.
Yeah,
Whoa.
thanks a lot.
Be careful with some areas because they are pretty sharp and they
Okay.
can cut your feet.
Mark and Fernando must now creep unseen towards the animals, bag what they have gone to find, and beat a hasty retreat.
And our intrepid heroes are in search of something as unromantic as sea lion poo, but it all helps build up a picture. They're coming back with a bag. There it is there. He's got one. Hey! Never have I been happier to see a bag of poo waved at me. Carwardine, with his bag of poo.
Distracted by the drama, what none of us noticed was the subtle but significant way in which the wind was picking up.
It's not possible, is it? It's not possible! This could still end nastily.
Can you put...
Right. It's all a bit hairy, frankly. And every second that passes makes me gladder and gladder that I'm a quivering, wobbling, hopeless, sobbing coward. Oh, my good night. I think they're coming to this rock here, where at least there may be a better chance of us jamming ourselves between them. Yeah, I think so. Or this one.
To be honest, the idea of simply abandoning Mark and Fernando to their fate amongst angry sea lions was starting to seem like a very real possibility.
We are going to come down, but go this way. Fernando?
That way?
Yeah, that way.
Oh, I don't want that exploding in my face.
It's all well wrapped.
Okay.
This is really important. Ready?
There it is.
Hey! Thank you.
Whoa. There it is. The object of this adventure. Little bags of poo. Well, we'll examine it on deck later, but first, let's rescue our heroes.
There is now only one way that Mark and Fernando will ever see their loved ones again. We will have to circle to the calmer waters of the western beach, where the boys will have to board in full view of the basking sea lions.
They're rather alarmed, aren't they, by the presence of humans on their rock. They've never been so outraged in their lives. Look at that. You get on? Yes!
Sorry.
Not so bad. I thought we'd never see you again. I don't think you pleased the sea lions with your presence on the rock. They were
Tried to pick our way
outraged.
back round and they still
Yeah,
saw
this
us.
is our rock, they
Well,
were
at least
saying.
they're coming back now.
Now all that remains is to analyze the hard-won treasure.
This is
Oh, it
fresh.
stinks.
Hi.
Oh, dear.
So I'm going to need somebody to drop water for me.
Okay.
In
I'll do that happily.
then I'm going to do
Tell me when.
this now.
As sardines are the staple food of sea lions in the Sea of Cortez, this research has historically revealed nothing but the bones of sardines.
Okay, here this is another
That's
solid.
tiny.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the largest.
This small disc is apparently the unmistakable inner ear not of sardine, but of a bottom-dwelling sea bass.
Oh,
Well, when someone says to you, well, what did you do over the weekend?
yeah. I sieved sea lion too.
Where on land sea lions are territorial and defensive, in the sea it's a different story. Mark has insisted that we leave Fernando to do his work and take this chance to see the animals at their best.
It is amazing down there. They dart at you, they swim upside down right until the last minute. It's an extraordinary experience.
Did you see the one grabbing my fin?
I did, I got very close to it. He took a great mouthful of your right foot. Should we go back in? Let's go back, yeah.
Fernando is discovering that these sea lions no longer survive on the sardines that have traditionally sustained the community, but are now eating bottom-dwelling bass and lizard fish. This points to a collapse in sardine numbers and a change in the ecosystem that could have repercussions for everything in the Sea of Cortez. For land-based mammals such as ourselves, the world beneath the ocean waves is hostile, confusing, and unfeasibly vast. And consequently, we know surprisingly little about it. Like sardines, blue whales have been pillaged to feed a great sprawl of humanity, and there are now thought to be just 15,000 left, or 10,000, or possibly 5,000. When it comes to counting the biggest animal that ever lived, we are, unbelievably, guessing. But if we have difficulty in counting, then actively conserving the ocean species is a challenge verging on the absurd. One pioneering technique is currently being tried on whale sharks. We've joined conservationist and shark watcher Estrella Navarro-Holm, who also just happens to be the current Miss Baja California South. For Mark, it's a heady combination.
So Estrella, presumably we're just looking for a big dorsal fin just breaking the surface.
Yes, it will be dark, and when we get close, we will be able to see the white spots. So we take a picture and identify the different sharks that way.
Sharks have this fearsome reputation. Is it a threat and a danger to us?
Most sharks aren't, actually. You have to say very few sharks are dangerous to people. It's a myth. And whale sharks particularly, they're huge, but they're gentle giants. They are the very worst if you get too close to them, or they don't want you to be in the water with them. They'll just dive and get out of the way, but they won't attack you. They have teeth. They have hundreds of teeth.
Hundreds?
Tiny little teeth, couple of millimetres big, row after row of them. But they're vestigial. They don't really use them, and so they don't use them to bite.
Oh, I see. So that you couldn't be savaged by one, even if it went mad?
No.
Oh, it's here.
See it?
Where?
There it is,
Oh my
right in
God,
front
it's
of the boat.
enormous.
You can actually see the whole length. Wow. It's just coming round in front here.
Estrella's first task is accurately to measure the whale shark. Now, with all the technology of the 21st century, how do you suppose a scientist measures a shark?
We will swim with the shark.
Yeah.
We will measure the shark with...
Oh, a good old tape measure.
Yes.
Sounds easy.
I love the words. I never thought I'd hear them. We swim to the shark, we measure the shark.
I know, and then it's just like that. Dead
That's all
easy.
you do.
Also, we have to measure the dorsal fin, and this is the easier way to do it.
And you take a picture as well?
It is, yes. We take a picture
Oh,
to...
can I take the picture?
Sure.
Oh, thanks
You can
a lot.
take
Oh, you've made Mark very happy. Obviously, what you need is someone who stays on board to make notes, and I think I'd be very good at that. So you two go off and measure the shark.
Sounds good to me.
I will stay on board and write things down.
And we're doing all of this while the shark is swimming along fast, and we can't really keep up.
Yes, we have to swim fast with the shark.
We have to be fit.
Yes.
Oh dear. See you later.
Good luck.
Thanks a
God,
lot.
I wish I were going with you.
It's a tough job. Where's the tape measure?
I've got the tape measure, don't worry about that.
No, we need it.
Yeah, you'll need it when you're in. We can hand it to you.
Then they're going to have to go straight.
Mark? But how are they they've not got the... So they're chasing the shark, and our underwater cameraman is there too to get the shots of them, hopefully measuring the beast.
By using her detailed records and by taking a DNA sample,
I'm really impressed.
Estrella is able to prove that meat turning up at market has been poached from the protected sharks of the Sea of Cortez.
There they are. Oh, there's the whale shark. They're measuring. They're actually measuring a shark. Good God.
And by proving that catches are illegal, Estrella is hoping dramatically to limit the impact of poaching on the sharks of La Paz Bay. But this time, before all of the measurements are taken, the shark decides that the encounter is over.
God, it was hard work though. 21 foot long. Keeping up with Estrella is like keeping up with a marlin. It's just impossible. She's so
very
fit.
good, isn't she? Amazing.
I feel like a slug behind her, but
Absolutely. I honestly have to say, I never thought we'd do it.
No, I
It seemed
didn't
to be a bit
either.
Like, I mean, wrestling eels. It just seemed impossible.
While we have proven that the exercise is at least possible, we have not succeeded in getting a DNA sample of the shark. So now we have to wait for our shark to return. Looks like I'm first on lookout duty then.
Yes, for some reason, Mark seems particularly absorbed in his conversation with the current Miss Baja California South.
I admire a man with an unwavering devotion to his subject.
I have it at 12 o'clock. I will get you right away. Right below it. Right below it. Vamos.
Do you want the stick?
Oh my goodness, that was good fun.
And the dorsal fin length is 55 centimeters.
Oh, very good, 55. Did you discover what sex it was?
Male.
Male.
Yeah, you could see the claspers.
Right. I don't quite know what a clasper is, but it sounds interesting.
It's the shark equivalent of a willy.
Oh, I see. They don't have a normal penis.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
I have 2 of them.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm absolutely exhausted.
With the measurements taken, Estrella now gets a small sample of the shark's DNA by jabbing it with a pointed lance.
Well, they look as if they're having fun. I've spent all morning and most of the afternoon watching them, so I might as well at least have a go, so I can say I tried to swim with this shark. Yeah.
Unbelievably, in spite of my torpedo-like movement through the waves, I never quite caught up with the great fish. But a close second best, Mark got his picture.
That's our boat here. Yeah, do you think it's big enough? It's great, isn't it?
It's got dinghies on it and everything.
Since the blue whales are not coming to us in La Paz Bay, we are having to go to them.
Hello.
This is Greg.
You're the captain. How do you do? Nice to meet you.
Captain Greg and the crew of the good ship Horizon will be our hosts for the next 6 nights. And Mark assures me that if anyone can take us to blue whales, then this is the crew that can do it.
When I was a boy, I virtually learned off by heart parts of the Guinness Book of Records. And, of course, you know, one of the things would be a huge page, a double-page spread of a blue whale with pictures of cars and lorries and various other things next to it to show the scale. And so the idea that I'm travelling to see them is a...
You're really genuinely excited.
Yeah.
But even with the best crew in the business, finding a blue whale at sea is like finding an extraordinarily large needle in a simply enormous haystack. Now, I'm certainly not the first to claim to see strange lights after a couple of drinks, but the camera saw it all, and it hadn't touched a drop.
Oh, yeah. Look at you. Look at you. How dare you behave like that? What do you think you're doing?
This is glowing algae, and it may not be the most technically accomplished piece of television you'll ever see, but like true professionals, we did not let our personal circumstances prevent us from capturing the moment for posterity.
Wow, they talk about bioluminescence, this extraordinary quality of certain sort of sea plants and things to light up. But this is insane. It's like some weird neon madness that you can't believe is real, and I have to keep looking down this thing. It's like a slushy. It's like a blue slushy lit. Look at it. Wow.
This bioluminescent algae is, I am told, not the most outlandish thing we are going to encounter. We are entering the territory of one of the most eerie predators in the Sea of Cortez. The next morning, I'm up early, escaping nightmares of predators and blue slushies. There may be much here that is disappearing, but nature, as they say, abhors a vacuum. While we may have suppressed some species, the unexpected result has been a boom for one species in particular. Here in the Sea of Cortez, an invasion is taking place. Scott Castle is catching and studying what the local fishermen called the Diablo Rojo, the Red Demon.
Any luck there, Dave? Not yet. We're working.
Before 1950, there were no reported sightings of Humboldt squid in the Sea of Cortez. Now, there are said to be tens of millions of them. As sharks have declined, so this fearsome predator is taking over right at the top of the food chain.
I usually exercise a lot of caution when coming down these steps at the best of times, but this, I would not want to dangle my feet in there, I suspect. There's a great sort of history of the myth of the giant octopus, the kraken, the huge squid, from everything from, ancient legend to, Jules Verne and everything, isn't there?
And when they get bigger, they are the stuff of legends. But, don't let this small animal here fool you. I interviewed a man here in Santa Rosalia, and his motor failed. And over in the distance were some friends that couldn't hear him. He jumps in the water and he's swimming over, and all of a sudden he gets surrounded by squid just a little bit bigger than this 3-foot squid, and they attacked him. And he was able to scream so loudly that his friends finally heard him and came over and picked him out of the water. But by the time they picked him out of the water, he had 330 bites. So the size of a grape each. So when I asked to look at his wounds, he took off his shirt and he looked like a burn victim from his waist all the way down.
These predators hunt in packs, swarming upon their victim in hundreds or even thousands. Local people now only enter these waters with extreme caution.
You can't imagine how many there are down below us right now.
Nobody knows how many of these squid are here. It's impossible to do a census of it. But I myself have seen squid shoals reach the surface for over a football field in size, with tens of thousands of animals on the surface reaching out of the water to collect sardines.
There's an argument, isn't there, for saying that this animal, more than the great white shark, is perhaps the most perfect killing machine in the water.
This animal can have 20 million babies.
Oh, my God.
And a great white shark can have 10 over a lifetime. So, you're looking at an animal that can outpopulate every other known predator.
Because that's one of the key things that's worrying you, isn't it?
To me, the Humboldt squid is the icon of the change on the planet. Because the Humboldt squid population is just exploding. And it's almost certainly because of a reduction in predators. What you are looking at right here is our next wildfire. This is an animal that is potentially going to upset the balance of the entire Pacific coast of all the Americas, Central, North, and South.
Oh, dear Lord. I think I've seen everything now.
That looks serious.
It's great fun at parties.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It only takes one good bite on a tendon and you don't forget the lesson.
Yeah.
Well, there he is.
This size right here, these chitinous ring teeth are just like small cactus spines. But when you get an animal that's 5 or 6 feet long, then all of a sudden it's as big as really thick hypodermic needles.
Whoa.
Yeah.
When the squid's hunting, it's using its eyesight to find prey, and then it grabs the prey with the tentacles.
Exactly. And watch the response here.
Wow.
He knows he can move that beak around in different directions.
Yes. Good Lord.
So while he grabs onto somebody like this,
Yeah.
oh yeah, he's chomping on me. While he's hanging on to me like this, he can take a bite.
It's the stuff of B-movie horror. But this is what the suppression of a species can mean. Shark fishing has decimated the number of sharks, and a new predator has taken over. What happens next is anybody's guess.
Unfortunately, I mean, I think these animals are such an amazing opportunistic predator that they will explore every species they encounter as food. And as soon as they realize they can eat it, they have a memory. So they're more adaptable to eating prey than anything else I know of in the ocean. And that's why they're such a problem.
There's a humpback, 3/4 of a mile, starboard bow.
Mark, do you hear that?
Yep, got it.
Not the blue whales we'd been looking for, but a sudden encounter with a humpback is not to be sniffed at.
Oh, another look at it. Whoa.
And again.
Wow.
Oh, it's breaching again.
Stunner.
It's so nice to see so many humpback whales together on the breeding grounds like this. This is one of the species that has actually benefited from proper protection, and it's really bouncing back.
Fantastic.
I reckon there's about 4 times as many now as there were when whaling stopped, which is
Really?
fantastic.
In Mark's view, the humpback is the whale with the best song in the ocean. And as the whales dive, he seizes the opportunity to let me hear it.
I've got a little hydrophone here.
Connected to the speakers.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is going to work.
You've got no faith. See? And we'll put it down to about 20 feet. Let's see if that works.
What was that?
That's it, that is it. We've got one.
That's unbelievable.
Listen to that. You can't believe it's a whale, can you?
It's extraordinary.
Isn't it amazing?
It's fantastic.
I love it. This has to be one of the best sounds in the animal kingdom. So what we're listening to, this is a male humpback whale. Only the males sing. And if you imagine, he'll be at some sort of 45-degree angle, facing down to the seabed, with his big flippers out, and the flippers will just be gradually waving like this, like a conductor in front of an orchestra, and singing this song that could last up to half an hour. It's the longest and most complex song in the whole animal kingdom.
Fabulous. Leaping for joy.
After several days at sea looking for blue whales, we're heading ashore onto one of the tiny islands that dot the Sea of Cortez. It's said that whales have been visiting this stretch of water for many thousands of years, and we've been told that the proof lies on this island.
These look like whale ribs, fossilized whale ribs.
Really? Oh, yes, they're not bone, are they? That's stone.
Yeah, well fixed inside there.
Is there any way of knowing what sort of whale or what sort of age?
This island is probably between 4 and 5 million years old, so I'd guess the bones are roughly the same. So it's very hard to say exactly what they came from, but they would probably have come from a whale that we'd recognise, a fairly modern type of whale, being that sort of age.
What's so nice is this is part of the world where there still are whales. Very often you see fossils inland of marine creatures where, you know, you haven't a chance of seeing them ever again, whereas at least here you feel there's continuity. It's
very interesting, actually, because a lot of the most ancient whale bones have been found in the Himalayas, miles from the nearest sea. It's the sort of cradle of whale evolution.
That's extraordinary.
Here's an interesting-looking one.
Good God, what's that?
That's a vertebra, whale vertebra.
That's one vertebra?
Yeah, it's a good size.
So if I feel a little knobble in my back, that's the equivalent?
Yeah.
It gives you some sense of scale, doesn't it? Wow, look at that. So do we know how this is related to the modern whale?
No, this would be a fairly modern species because, again, it'll be 4 or 5 million years old, but we know amazingly little about how whales evolved and what they evolved from. The latest theory is they evolved probably about 60 million years ago, just after the dinosaurs disappeared. There was an animal that looked like a wolf with hooves, and it used to live in a place called the Tethys Sea, which is between what's now southern Europe and Central Asia. And they reckon what happened was it spent more and more time in the water.
That's extraordinary.
It gradually, over this huge period of time, its legs disappeared. And in fact, you can see the evidence in the flipper of the whale. You can see all the hand and finger bones.
Oh, it's still got carpals or tarsal bones.
Yeah, and they've got no hind legs or hind flippers, as you know. But there's a little bone that is still just in the blubber. That's the remains of our hind legs and our hips.
Whales have been swimming the Earth for over 50 million years. But it took just 5 decades for whaling ships to reduce their numbers by over 90%.
Something that really worries me is that whaling still going strong. It's not over by any means yet. Japan, Norway and Iceland are all whaling commercially, and they're killing between them 2,000 whales a year. It's as cruel as it was when whaling was at its peak. And what I wanted to do was just to show you this little video, just to show you the reality of whaling and what's happening.
They look like a battleship, aren't they?
It does, doesn't it?
Some pretty strong stuff. Oh, my God.
There are currently 8,471 species of animal officially recognized as endangered by extinction. To put it another way, if Mark and I made a film about each one of them, and those films were broadcast every week without a break, this series would run for a little over 162 years and 10 months, which is perhaps the most absurd and the most sobering statistic I've ever encountered. 20 years ago, Mark photographed the Yangtze River dolphin. Now the dolphin is extinct, and all we have are photographs. For the last year, Mark has documented everything. But wouldn't it be a shame, quite literally shaming, if all we leave to the people of the future are photographs in place of thousands and thousands of some of the most extraordinary, complex, baffling, and sometimes hilarious creatures that ever walked upon the earth? The biggest animal that ever lived may be hard to find, but it is still out there. Having brought me all the way to Mexico, Mark is determined by hook or by crook to get our boat to blue whales. Mark has abandoned me for a day in La Paz, which may seem out of character, but I've come to recognize the glint in his eye that means he's working on a plan.
Well, I've known Sandy for many years. We met in the mid-1990s and we've flown goodness knows how many hours together. She's the best pilot I've ever come across anywhere in the world. And she's very kindly brought her lovely Cessna 182, which is built in 1958, can you believe? It's a year older than I am, so probably quite decrepit, but it's certainly airworthy. And she's going to help us to find blue whales. So if anyone can do it, Sandy can, and I'm hoping we'll have found some and then take Stephen to them. Here we go again.
Yeah.
So, with the coordinates of at least one blue whale, Mark and I are heading north.
Well, this is what we've come to see.
A blue whale, and that does look blue.
The size is the thing. The longest ever recorded was 110 feet long, which is about the length of a Boeing 737.
Good Lord.
The other thing is its weight. The heaviest ever recorded was 190 tons. An average, I worked this out, an average-sized blue whale, if you imagine a set of weighing scales,
Yes.
and you put an average-sized blue whale on one side of the weighing scales, and you have to pile lots of other things on the other side to balance the scales. You have to put all of the following: half a dozen African elephants, a black rhino, a couple of whale sharks, 5 Tyrannosaurus rexes,
What?
100 world-class sumo wrestlers, the entire football team of Norwich City, your football team, and
One of
my
the lightest.
car, and that lot together equals the weight of
And
one
your car.
average-sized blue whale. You just don't get the scale just by looking at it like that. But
And it flies through the water at great speed and with great agility.
yeah, I mean, they're incredibly agile. They lift their... About 1 in 4 in the Sea of Cortez lifts the tail. Some don't, and we don't quite understand why. Lifts the tail right up in the air, you know, and you can imagine, you can see that length of the body up in the air as it dives. So that's probably 20 feet of tail sticking out of the water.
Goodness me, I can't wait to see this creature.
This is what we've come...
Seeing this flicking of the tail, or fluking, is, I am told, the holy grail of whale watching.
Cessna Emily, Motor Vessel Horizon, Whiskey Alpha Bravo, 6355, Channel 16.
The following morning, we've arrived at where the whale was the previous day. Now, all we need is Sandy and Cessna Emily to guide us in.
Cessna Emily, Motor Vessel Horizon, Whiskey Alpha Bravo, 6355, Channel 16.
Horizon, we're just coming up on you. We're not in the
That's her.
Cessna Emily, Motor Vessel Horizon, Channel 18. Good morning.
Well, we're just coming up on you, almost
I can hear her.
off the airport side, left side, and I think that's you.
Hey! Wow.
Oh, that's great.
Because that can't see a whale, nothing can. Two blue whales behind us.
Oh, that's fantastic.
3 miles behind you.
So that's the area she's circling above, isn't it? I haven't seen any flukes yet, or any sign.
So somewhere around here.
Yeah. That's it there, there's a fluke. Can you see it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Right by the island.
Absolutely, dead ahead.
Just caught
12
it.
o'clock.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh,
Dive.
my goodness.
Hey.
That's my first ever glance
We've done it.
in the direction of a blue whale, yeah. Wow! Look at you. Whoa!
Hey.
Look at that body.
Oh, it's going to
Look
do
at it.
It's going to fluke. No.
No, not quite. Oh!
Moving. It's going to fluke. No. And again.
Still going.
This might be the one.
Yes, it's a big one. Is it? Yes! Yes!
Yeah, oh,
yes!
wow.
Yes! Yes!
That was high. That was
How can you
great.
get so excited about an animal just deciding to show its tail? And yet I can't tell you, it's the most thrilling thing when you just know it's the final arching through, and then there's that fabulous sight.
Blue whales may be diminished, but they're still out there, like the aye-aye, the kakapo, the Komodo dragon, and the 8,471 other species on the endangered list. Isn't it extraordinary to imagine that we could be the generation to watch them all slip away? And in the future, would people not wonder how we could possibly have allowed that to happen?
Glistening. Look at that length of body.
It's going
and
to...
it's
Oh!
fluking! Yay! Mark, that was the most fantastic thing I've ever seen.
Really?
Oh,
really?
my God! It's enormous, and it's slow, and it's sleek, and it's just so magisterial.
It has been a privilege to retrace Mark's journeys 20 years after he first made them. I hope that others will remake these journeys in another 20 years. You have my blessing, and I sincerely hope you will find the animals waiting for you when you get there.